I had to hit another button. Now we're live.
There we go. We're live, baby. Welcome back to the Three Wanks podcast. This week featuring your two favorite Wanks, both FPL Mack and myself. Mack, how are we feeling after this past week?
Feeling pretty good, I think. Back in the plunger. Not nice. I literally just needed Tarkowski to get Defcons to escape this thing, and he just didn't. First time all season. First game I had him. If Bruno Fernandes could not have gotten negative points as well, I also wouldn't be in this plunger. But spirits are high. I would call it a successful wild card. Feeling pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, successful wild card, even when the weakest chip in the game kind of takes it to you. But I will admit it feels good to be back in my regular hat, my preferred attire versus last week. And I think it just fits you. So I hope we see this about 32 more game weeks.
Mm-hmm. Well, at this rate, you might. I think I'm like, 5 or 6? Let's be real.
I know. Really, what we need is Luke to get in here and get in and last for once. So
seriously, he deserved it this week because he didn't even bring his to be revealed punishment hat.
It's true. I know
on the trip that he's on.
Which coincidentally, he is traveling up to us, so it'll be a rare meetup in person, which is going to be exciting this week. But maybe we'll post a little something together since we'll all be in the same spot.
It's exciting. We'll have to talk about that.
We'll see if Twitter will see it first. That's all I know.
All
but
right. Good man.
Let's touch on the week. I mean, a lot happened, it feels like, from an offensive perspective that we've kind of been waiting on. And then obviously the story of the week is the amount of people that triple captained. And really that's how you ended up where you're at, even with what was a relatively successful wild card. But I mean, Haaland's just the robot.
Haaland is in fact the robot. And you know what? Took a little hit on this one with the triple captain, but if I hadn't wild carded, I wouldn't have him. So
there you go.
Better to be on board. At least we're cheering for the same guy now.
True. Yeah, let's hop in to your team. For those of you that follow us normally, you will know that Luke is our graphics and honestly, we'll say tech guy. So we're functioning behind the 8 ball, to put it politely.
It's a lot easier to make fun of Luke sharing a screen than it is to actually share the screen. But dang, did we just do first try?
No. Well, I mean, we can go through the guy that's not here first.
All right, that's good.
So the biggest thing here, like we mentioned, is obviously the Haaland triple captain. And he only had one other player return on this team. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
And I'm still in this fucking hat.
No, I mean, well, you guys both suffered from Bruno. I think everyone suffered from Sanchez in goal, just with that solo point back there. But a lot of the guys who have been returning, I mean, you look at João Pedro. Honestly, I expected more out of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer this weekend for sure. And then the United guys. It's the guys that have been returning didn't really return this week, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. It just seems to, I mean, not to speak for his strategy, but it seems to further confirm the need for a wild card 8. If I was his team, I think we discussed a lot last week. Like, he really wants to push for a wild card 13, and he's got a lot of the core bones, I'd say. Like having Haaland and double Arsenal defense, and even Pedro Porro with the fixtures coming up is all good. But you could see he was questioning whether he needed the wild card in 8 in the group chat offline, and I think I could see why. But overall, I mean, solid week with the triple captain. But if he doesn't have that 16 points, it's not as great of a score. It's pretty much a blank with everyone bar Gabriel.
100%, yeah. And honestly, I think the conundrum that you hit on there is kind of what I'm facing as well, because I feel really close, and it's really only 4 or so pieces that I mean, not even that I need to change, but that to have what an ideal team I think needs to change. And it's hard to justify that wild card when it's not like a full team overhaul. But because so many people hitting 6 are hitting over the next 2 weeks, it feels like if you don't do it, you're going to be left behind.
Well, do you want to bring up, that might be a good segue. Do you want to bring up your team and we could talk about your potential need to wild card? Is there anything else we want to touch on Luke's team? I don't think so. His guys suck.
Honestly, we've given him way more time than we should have since he ditched us. So
seriously,
I think. Okay, let's see if that's the right one. I'm just tossing JPEGs up here. Nice, we're
We got
killing
it.
it.
We're killing it.
I love it. Okay, yeah. So this was the squad. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's not like I was a far cry different from where Luke was at. It was very similar with a lot of blanks, Holland and Gabrielle's. I mean, header, absolute gorgeous. But Semenyo being the differential there between our two teams, really, and then just obviously not the negative points out of Bruno. But of all the things that happened here, I mean, we know Semenyo's good. I said not the usual people are returning. I mean, Holland and Semenyo are usual, and they just keep doing what they need to do, which is nice to see. Gabriel finally, obviously, with that goal put up in his total, but look at Ali there on the bench. I mean, before this week, I certainly would not have started. Obviously, I didn't, but would not have started Ali over any of those midfielders.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy little return to form for Watkins. I think that I've always believed that he was gonna turn it on at some point. Like I just feel like Aston Villa can't be that bad. Now, is this a true turnaround? I don't know. One game, unfortunately, this is a small sample size this time. But
It,
yeah, you got that. You got those points, and thank God you had him on your bench. Is all I have to say about that.
I know 6 more definitely would have been nice. But even with this, a nice 82, certainly well above average there at the 46. And finally seeing some consistent green arrows over the last couple weeks up to just under 1.1 in the overall rankings. So hopefully continue building on that and get higher and higher as we continue on. But to touch on, kind of give the hint at where I guess I was going with my transfer thoughts or the segue that kind of got us here. Um, I like a lot of my midfield, and I know I don't have the fixtures up here for next week, but they still have really good fixtures next week overall. There's none that I'm like, wow, I need to bench that guy. I mean, you have Watkins against Burnley as well, so it's almost like, well, now do I even need to get rid of him if he's returning? Is this going to be a little more consistent? And against Burnley, that's certainly a good time to figure that out. The biggest question mark that jumps out to me is Milenkovic in the back row. So that's where I'm like, I don't have a guy. I have a Steve who I just talked about, obviously going against Aston Villa. I'm not going to say I'm super scared to start him, but he's not ideal. And I still don't know what's going on with Wan-Bissaka. So he's just kind of a placeholder losing value at this point as I fix other issues. So obviously defense is where I'm looking. And then goalie, honestly, is a bit of a concern as well. I think, with Sanchez playing Liverpool this week, not that we've looked amazing, but Liverpool, yeah, we still put a goal in at least. Like I have no hope of a clean sheet, I would say. And Dubrovka might against Villa, or Villa's good. And either way, then I'm cheering against one of my players. So then I feel weird.
Yeah, it's always a tough situation, like you said, when you're cheering against your guys. But to touch briefly on that wild card, which I think we'll go in a little more in detail later.
Yeah.
I agree with the sentiment that you like your midfield, right? Like I wild carded this week to get to where you were and you still beat me. Now, arguably that's because of the triple captain. I think
Yeah.
I would have actually edged you out by 1 point if you hadn't used it, but you did use it and you've played the game in the season well so far enough this year to be at this point, and it's a good return on it. So really excited to see that. I guess the problem with wildcarding an 8 then would be that if nothing changes, these are the guys to have. Now things will always change. There's a couple transfers we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, but coming off the back of a monster week like this, what do you happen to know what your game week rank was? Because I had 69 points and I was 1.2, so you got to be up there, I would
Yeah.
imagine. It
No.
doesn't feel like it's the week for crazy transfers, and I think that if these are the guys to have and you have them in 8 and they're still good, maybe you can just get a couple transfers, freeze out of the way, save that wild card for like a 13.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally fair. And yeah, we can touch on it a little bit further, but I just wanted to, obviously looking at my team right now, a huge part of that is just questioning what to do this week because I felt so locked in last week with my transfers. But we can definitely touch on that as we get into all of the discussions around players and what is coming up. And sorry, I'm trying to figure out if I can. Oh yeah, my game week. Ooh, that's not bad. That was 211K.
See, so you had to be up there. So not a bad week if you need to just roll a transfer, right?
Yeah, no,
Not
for sure.
crying out.
I'm not mad about it. But We touched on the two non-losing teams. Let's hop into what got you on this plunger.
Under the plunger in this case.
There you go. True.
All right.
Okay, let's see. This should be you.
That
Nice.
is me. That is
Hey,
me.
we're 3 for 3, and I am not kidding you guys. I am touching. I downloaded 6 JPEGs before this, and I'm just clicking them, and we're getting them right. So this is big. Sorry.
This is
So,
big. You're just on being on fire in fantasy this past weekend is carrying on into this week.
I love it. Just keep it hot.
It's just your week. All right. I know I'm in the plunger, but I'm not mad about it. Again, I think the differentiator this week was that you guys had the opportunity to triple captain, and my team was just in such a bad state last week that I didn't have the opportunity to triple captain. I had to wild card, I felt, and I think that was largely a good move. So I looked back at the transfers I made, and just as a reminder, I had an injured Tielemans and I had Watkins, who were both gone. I had Murillo in there, who I got rid of. Gosh, like I said last week, I wanted to forget that team, and I've taken that to heart. I got rid of Anderson, which may be a little bit of a bummer, but net and net, I gained 24 points this week that I would have had if I played last week's team, inclusive of playing Watkins with his score. Best team from last week. So happy to have wildcarded. The difference maker was the triple captain. It couldn't be more poetic that I was talking mad shit about it last week, and then you guys go off for 16.
I mean,
I
and
stand
not
by it.
just that we went off for the way in which he did it. Like, if you guys follow the Twitter, I was talking about Semenyo the night before, and I think I actually texted 95% of that game. I was mad that I did not have Semenyo as my triple captain. And then Holland just said, extra time? Yeah, I'll be solid. Sure, why not?
Just another one that goes against me this week, but like genuinely, that might be a best wild card I've ever seen. I've been playing this game for a while. I never get lucky on it, which might influence some of my bias. But neither here nor there. You guys got a massive 16 points from it. It was a great call this week to play. That being said, I would have smoked you both if you hadn't played it this week. So reflection on the team is I'm in the plunger, but I'm happy to be in the plunger because I'm at least positive about this week for the first time in a little while, right? Like this is a happy plunger as compared to 2 weeks ago where it was a not happy plunger.
Yeah, you've been down bad a couple of these, so it's nice to see the spirits lifted.
It's a tough start, right? I've been the Villa of the boys this year so far, but maybe Watkins scores, I score, maybe we'll rise together this year. Who knows?
So does that mean you're bringing Ali back next week?
No,
I
no,
just
but
had to check in on that.
the annoying part is I did this either last year or 2 years ago too. He didn't score for like the first 6 or so game weeks, and then I transferred him out, and then he started returning like right immediately, and then I had to bring him back in. It was so annoying. And if that's the case, so be it. I was hemorrhaging team value. I had to lock in this team midweek last week, like Tuesday, in order to afford them, and by the end of the week, I needed like something crazy, like zero point 0.7 more than I had just because of the price rises from them, but also the falling of the players that I previously had. Um, and like the transfer value you lose when you get rid of a player. So yeah, I'm happy. I mean, just to cover it quickly, Sensi was a big get for me. He returned. Pretty disappointed to see the Arsenal lost a clean sheet, but then Gabrielle made up for it by getting that awesome goal. And Crystal Palace is a great team this year. What?
Dude, they own us. Like I mean, they've played very well overall, but just after the Community Shield, and then this week, I'm a Crystal Palace. I respect them, but I hate them.
No, that's true. I did not consider the fact that they have dog walked you twice in the span of a month
All right,
or
hey,
a
you
month or
you
two.
drew you drew wolves. Let's not be throwing stones from glass
Hey,
houses.
do you see any Spurs players on my team?
Uh,
I'm self-aware of nothing else.
all right,
um, Tarkowski, that motherfucker though, doesn't get DEFCONs for the first time this
yeah.
entire season. I brought him in, so that sucked. And I was looking at Ndai, and I'm like, well, he kind of might be a trap. Maybe I should bring in something like a Minta instead. And whatever, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Like you gotta bring in an Ndai versus West Ham, and I don't know if it was the new manager bounce or if it was Nuno working magic already, but they were a little better at least.
Yeah.
And then yeah, pretty run of the mill. A little bit of a bummer to see the blank from Gokeres. and then Joe Pedro and Reiners, but like Reiners is a 5.6. He's gonna blank in some games, and then I for the most part got my bench right. Like I think it was a good decision. I was at the beginning of the week lined up to bench both Gabriel and Gokeres, and I thought about it and I said, actually, this is Arsenal. They're really solid. Probably play both of them. They're a lot of money, and then net on net, I think was a good move. So
Yeah.
it's my little rundown. I'm happy with it. In the plunger, but not down bad.
Yeah, no, and I don't think you should be. I mean, obviously you went solid players. Like you said, some of them didn't return, but I think you're looking up going forward. Is there any thought as we move forward as to what you're going to do from here? And to be honest, I'm looking at the middle of your team, right? We've had a lot of discussion on here about United players and Bruno specifically. Is there thought to, I mean, that's 9 mil, that's a lot of money to go somewhere if you wanted to go even just one for one.
Yeah. I have not. So I don't think there's anyone needing to transfer out this week, is the thing. Like I wild carded into this team in an effort to have a team that I could theoretically stack for the next couple weeks without making a transfer, right? So the plan is not to make a transfer this week, I don't think. And Bruno does play Sunderland, so that might be pretty solid.
Yep.
To answer your question,
No, that's totally fair. Honestly, we don't have to go too far into Sunderland, but to me, they've been the surprise of the Premier League so far, just in how solid their defense has been in total. I feel like their offense comes, but they build up really well and just control much better than I feel like most promoted teams can do.
yeah, no, I've been incredibly impressed by really, if I want to be honest, all of the promoted teams that have come
Yeah.
up this year. I think Burnley's had probably the toughest go out of the three of them, but beyond that, Leeds has been pretty solid, and it's nice to see them back. Although I think a lot of Prem fans will disagree. And
Wait,
then
give me the lore as someone who's relatively new to the overall Prim sphere.
the
Why are
lore
we?
is that Leeds historically have been kind of good, and they have a rivalry with a decent amount of teams that carries from that. And then there's all the usual accusations of their dirty players and stuff like that, some of which are true historically. But it's safe to say they're one of the more disliked teams in England,
All right, good. I'll hate
apparently.
them. I'm here for it.
Um,
I
right.
hate half the Prim already, so I mean, why not just add another one to it?
No, I agree. I tweeted out earlier this week that the list of teams I want to get relegated this season is already more than three. So setting ourselves up for disappointment there. But yeah, then like you said, Sunderland, they've just been, I think, probably the best one. I mean, defensively amazing. I can't kick myself for not picking up that 4.0 guy who scored this week because it just wasn't the team I wanted. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of people who picked him, and then I don't think anyone got rewarded for it though because he was on everybody's bench
Absolutely. Unless you bench boosted, you did
unless you
not
bench
get
boosted.
anything. Yeah.
But just the fact that they're coming up and they're punching some good teams in the nose, I'm like pretty impressed by them so far.
I know. I kind of love it. I mean, I texted game week 1. I picked Ipswich last year as the team that I'm going to be like, hey, I want you to stay up here. I think it'd be fun. Sunderland was my team. I'm sticking with it. So be fun to see them up there. I like when someone stays up just for the heck of it.
It's been a while, man. I think we're going on 2 or 3 years in a row now where the team that's come up is immediately all three of them have gotten relegated.
Yep.
Prem money is starting to make that race a little less interesting. So it'd be great if we could see some undeserving teams go down that have maybe been hanging around a little too long.
Yeah. No,
If
absolutely.
only to give them a chance to rebuild.
Yeah. No, I'm here for it. And maybe not this year. Next year we see Wrexham up there. I mean, they're kind of middle to back half of the table in the championship. Gotta be okay with that.
Is that how they're doing?
Yeah, I just checked it out today because they play. I forget who they played, but they
I
drew
think
1-1.
they played Leicester, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yep. Yep. But enough of championship football.
Yeah,
Let's get
yeah.
back to why we're here in the FPL world. Let's talk a little bit maybe about games that are coming up next week and thoughts we have on those. So I just want to throw up here something we've referenced the past couple weeks, Solio data regarding clean sheets. This is going to be the first one I probably get wrong, but let's see how we did. It's not exactly what I wanted to look at. Give me.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah, I got another one that's coming up here. It would okay. So that was that one. So this one. Let's see how that one. I had three. So
Have you
as
removed the? Have you lost the streak?
we lost the streak, but this is where we want to be at image 0. I just put it in the studio thing. I think
There
we
we
just
go.
there we go. All right, so this is where we have referenced the past few weeks. Rob T posted out, but I believe just some Pinnacle and Solio data. So looking at this, I mean, it is just so very clear that Arsenal is the team to have this week. I mean, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, but you already have Gokras, you have Gabriel, and I think do you have Raya as well? So
Yeah, I've got Curtis, Gabriel, and Raya.
yeah, so how I mean, you're obviously feeling sitting pretty with those three in there.
Yeah, well, the wild card 6 was earlier than I probably wanted to pick them up, if I'm being truthful, but I just felt that the upside was there, and as I think I've explained, I got that. But now it's when the Arsenal fixtures get really good, right? We got
I
West
know.
Ham next week. As you said, this graphic confirms that they're the place to be. But then Fulham, Crystal Palace, both which are tougher teams, but if Arsenal wants to get her done, then they need to just get her done. But then we got Burnley and Sunderland in 10 and 11. So I am happy with my guys. If for some reason Saka starts popping off, maybe we'll look at a money move there with Fernandez out, but I don't think I need to make that call this week.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I think for me, this has been part of another reason to possibly wildcard is because I want to fix my defense. And okay, no problem. I could target an Arsenal player there if I wanted to this week and get a Calafiori, get a Timber, get someone like that in there. Um, but then I lose out on the attack, and when you're projected 2.5 goals, I mean that's nothing to scoff at. And maybe I get lucky and Gabriel does it again, but I mean more than likely than not, it's coming out of Saka or Gelk in some way. So I'm kind of questioning it from that perspective. But obviously, like you said, their entire run really over the next few weeks is great. So getting him in, if I were to wildcard in 8 versus anything else, could be the play as well.
Hmm. Yeah. So were you saying wild card in 7 this week?
Yeah, honestly, I've been thinking
Hmm.
about it.
I didn't know that. That's big.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
And we can touch on that when we get back to the teams, but this would be one reason for me to go that direction. Looking at just other fixtures on here, I kind of already have my city cover that I want, Holland and Rudolph. So feeling okay from that fixture. United, I went in Mbumo. We obviously all have some cover across the board there with their attack against Sunderland. Like
Although
we just,
at the way that Sunderland is playing,
that's what I was about to say.
who is the underdog in this one?
I 100% agree. I mean, United was playing Burnley real tough.
Yeah, and oh man, Bruno is getting a lot of penalty misses. Does that concern me as an owner?
I
Yes,
think, yeah, I was gonna say I think it should.
it
Who else? I
does.
mean, who do they move on to him?
Bumo, maybe Cunha. I don't know. I don't know if those guys were penalty takers historically. Was it like Wissa at Brentford? I have no idea.
No, I really don't either. That's why I'm genuinely curious because that could
Hmm.
definitely impact that entire conversation. Especially if it's Bumo, I feel like that you just have to do Bumo then with corners, with pins, with
For a mil cheaper, and then
yeah.
honestly, if you're a United fan, maybe Amarim gets fired and you guys get good. Like I don't know. I'm not saying that he's the problem, as has been demonstrated over the last 15 years at United, but it's not great. Um,
Yeah.
but like you said, yeah, good fixture for Man United on paper.
Yeah, right.
And then,
Exactly.
even Bournemouth, who they've been really solid this week. They got Fulham, and then as you said, City, Brentford. So pretty good slew of games this week. Kind of excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anyone as you look at game week 7 that you are, or maybe not even 7, just on your radar over the next few weeks that you're thinking about?
Um, I mean, it would be really annoying if Villa just suddenly put it together after I had a lot of faith in them going into the season with the double up and then finally got rid of them. So they are on my radar because of the one game, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're starting to figure out for at least this portion of the season who's good. I'm really interested in seeing Brighton this weekend. They play Wolves. And, Brighton have actually been really solid this season to the point where I'm a little bummed I didn't pick up like a Minta over like an Ndai. And so if they just pump Wolves, I would maybe start looking at their assets. And those are like the only guys that I really want to monitor that I feel like are a super big threat for me. But right now, because I feel like a lot of active managers wildcarded, at least to a team that a lot of people already have or not, there's not a huge amount of variation. I don't feel like I'm not covered on a lot of fronts. It's just like, where am I going to move to?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's very fair. I mean, Brighton is someone that it's one of those teams you just look at and you're like, mid. And I'm like, nothing wrong with them, nothing great with them. That was my viewpoint previously, but to your point, definitely someone to start looking at. Bournemouth's been on the radar for a little bit, so over that. But I guess my questions going forward, and just people that I'm looking at, both as a possible wild card 8, or just like we talked about the Arsenal fixtures, is I'm trying to figure out, like we touched on, Saka or Gok from an Arsenal attack perspective, and then that feeds into the question of Salah or Isak for me. Ekatike, if you guys haven't seen, believe he does have a little hamstring injury, so I think that's just going to continue opening up time for Isak, which from a Liverpool fan perspective is a little unfortunate just because Ekatike has played so well to start the season and looked like a real attacking threat, and we didn't look like that the last 2 games, including against in our Champions League game today. So a little bummed out of that, but maybe if it provides a little clarity where Isak does take over from an FPL perspective, it would be nice to know that, because he's 4 million cheaper than Salah. But then it's looking at, do I want Tottenham defense? Do I still trust Palace's defense as their fixtures kind of turn? So a few questions that I've just been kicking around.
Yeah, no, I have the same questions. I didn't wildcard in any Tottenham guys. I do trust the defense. Like, I think if you have a Van de Ven, he's a hold, but we've really just been struggling to put it together on like we should pump teams like Wolves. And unfortunately, they're the exact game where that we kind of knew as fans we'd struggle in. And then, like you said, the Palace fixtures have turns. Now they just took it to Liverpool, but I think that both the Liverpool aren't as good as they need to be right now, and Palace
Yep.
are maybe doing really, really well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
So,
think that's all fair. I mean, Tottenham and Leeds are surprisingly close there, right next to each other on the projected goals this week.
yeah,
How are we feeling about that? Because I won't lie to you, I've been kicking around as much as we've talked to Arsenal, going a Van de Ven or going a Romero in my back line this week.
I think that's fine. I don't think that Leeds have been a powerhouse offensively. Now you could argue the same for Wolves. Um, and we just conceded 1 to them. We also did just concede 2 to Bodo Glimt today. So I don't know if the defensive solidity's been there necessarily, but if you do that transfer, then you have Villa, Everton in the next 3, but then the fixtures kind of turn. So it's like Chelsea, United, Arsenal, Fulham, Newcastle, Brentford, Forest, Liverpool, Crystal Palace. And so I don't know. I don't think it's a bad short-term punt. Leeds would probably be a good one to pick them up against, but I wouldn't put all your eggs in that basket is maybe where my head's at, because we haven't been quite putting it together.
No, that's totally fair. And to be honest, if I did go that way, it would be, to coin a term you guys used last week, dead ending my team into a wild card. It wouldn't be into game week 8 and switching back to the Arsenal guys that I want, because I don't think I know Gabriel scored. I don't think I'm going to stick with him. I think I'm going to go Saliba for, I think Defcons will be more consistent there than the one header every 6 games. So
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I think if you're going to dead end, then I think it's a great pickup. Probably a Van de Ven, I'd imagine. Romero didn't play today. I don't know if that was precautionary or just rotation or whatever, but Van de Ven's the safe one, I think, unless Frank rotates him as a result of that. So I don't know. That is another issue with Spurs. It's been very rotation heavy this year, and it's like a little challenging to know who's going to play right now.
thanks for putting that back in my head. All right, something to overthink. Perfect.
Hey, man, I don't have any of them in my team, as I've said.
I know.
I want them, right? But
Well, then maybe this is a bad question because as I look at possible game week eights, I've obviously named some pretty expensive players to go after. So I'm
Hmm.
looking for some decent lower cost people, and I'm looking right back at Richarlison.
Well, actually, he's been a better pick because of some news that's developed in the last couple of days. For those who haven't seen, Solanke needed ankle surgery, and so it's going to keep him out for at least a couple weeks, and that means Richarlison is the starter because we have Kolomuani, who's been dealing with a dead leg, and then we have, and honestly, he's kind of needed on the left side, and then we have Tell, who's like another a young left winger, but he's not really a striker right now.
Yep.
There's this, so we're kind of in short supply from a striker standpoint, and like Richarlison is now probably going to have to play a lot. So my only concern about him earlier was like, just is he going to play enough minutes question. But now I think his stonks are increasing. The only downside is, again, as I said, we haven't been able to put it together to get on the scoring chances.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's fair. But if they can just rekindle some of that first week magic, kudos to Richie up there. That looked pretty nice, and that'd be pretty good for my team if I had them both.
Mm-hmm. That would be fun.
And one shout out to Tell. I know he's not there yet, but I can assure you in my FIFA 24 2028 season, that dude was a baller.
Yeah, man, I have high hopes for him. I think he's been a little down, but I'm not counting him out yet. He's a pretty young kid.
Yeah. Yep. No, totally fair. All right. Any other fixtures you want to touch on, or do you want to flip back to your squad and where you're sitting for the next game week?
Yeah, I can flip to the next game week. I think I will actually share
Please
now.
do it.
Give me but a moment.
While we take this break, please show your attention to the upper right hand corner where you can see our sponsor, StreamYard. Shout out to them for making this all happen.
We love it. We love it. I'm really trying to screen share, but it's a little harder than I thought. I've literally done this before.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
It's just an overwhelming amount of controls when you're the host. I don't know how Luke does it.
Oh, let's not give him that credit. I mean, come on now.
True. He's not even here to support us. All right. Well, I guess I won't share my team. We'll just go back to the last week's thing because I am too much of a boomer to figure it out, apparently.
Wait. Stop it. It's not that hard. Exit full screen and press the plus button that's in the center. Like where you see where you can like share things.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you see the share screen?
Mm-hmm. No,
Okay.
no, that's the thing.
What?
Was I already sharing my screen? Okay.
It might be if you check the studio.
Oh, I bet I was already sharing it. It was interesting. It was probably just being shared in the studio. Got it. Okay. Now I got to remove other media. There we go.
Hey, we're nice.
All right, Luke, we're editing this out of a live stream. Anyways.
Man, at least we weren't smart enough to tweet out that we were doing this beforehand. So hopefully the current view count is low.
Hey, we had one earlier. One live viewer.
There we go.
Here's the thing. What I had on paper for this week is a bench boost. If I had a sound attack, I'd go dun dun dun. So maybe I'll just say it like that.
No, give me the echo effect.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. Dun dun dun.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. Bench boost. That's what we're doing this week. So the reason I am maybe on it is where I'm at right now is because it's like the starting 11 that I have is pretty solid. 3 Arsenal guys versus West Ham, Fernandez against the mighty Sunderland. I think that the Ndai versus Crystal Palace, that was actually tricky, and then Semenyo could be tough against Fulham, but like I think my starting 11 bar maybe João Pedro is like a pretty winnable like starting 11 to just play for a week. The problem with the bench boost is that then I have to play Dubravka versus Villa. We already stated that one might be a little tricky. And then Caicedo, Tarkowski, and Anderson against Bournemouth, Liverpool, and Crystal Palace, three of the more informed teams and arguably better teams right now. And that seems stupid, especially after I talked all that shit about the triple captain last week.
You don't want
It
to just
doesn't
waste the bench
seem
boost.
right. I don't want to waste it. It just doesn't seem like the best week for it. But the problem is that I wild carded to this team to not make any transfers. So the plan
Yeah.
is to just roll a transfer, which I would do regardless. I don't think there's anybody I need to pick up immediately this week. But in 8, if I go to Mo Salah, then I'm probably going to have to dump one of these guys out for, like someone cheaper. And it's like I picked this team with the bench boost in mind in game week 7 to just one, get it out of the way, but two, capitalize on the fact that I have a strong team and a strong bench, because I imagine my bench is going to get weaker. Like I feel like I have a lot of money tied up in my defense right now with 5 playable defenders. And it's like, how often am I going to play all of those? Do I need, Anderson and Sensi and Richards, or could I drop one of them down to a 4.0, depending on the fixtures? So I'm pretty back and forth on it. It might be a good way to just get some, some points out of the way, but like, I don't know. Chelsea haven't looked great. Bournemouth are just scary to play anybody against, and then Crystal Palace is the same thing.
Yeah, no, I think the things that you touched on a lot of the things that stick out to me right away when I look at this team, and considering that the Villa possible threat, not knowing what they are, João Pedro kind of falling out of form, but also playing Liverpool, and then the stoutness of Palace with both Ndai and Tarkowski could be interesting. I also don't love playing Caicedo simply because, not that clean sheets are a lot for midfielders, but like we at least score. Like you're probably not going to have a clean sheet there. So I guess my thought, I have a couple different thoughts, but number one, if I look at your bench, the upside past 2 points for those guys feels kind of low. I would say
Mm-hmm.
Tarkowski maybe with DefCons getting there, maybe he gets up to 4 or something like that. But to me, then you're just like that should be the baseline. I feel like when you look at bench boost, like you should expect your players to play if you're going to bench boost and therefore get 2 points each. Obviously, Bruno shows why that doesn't always happen. So to me, it just feels like there's a little upside from that. And then the follow up is yes, you just wildcarded, but I think forward to those 5 free transfers that we're going to get at one point, and the fact that it's not a chip and you could bench boost when you make 5 free transfers right away. And you could even 5 free transfer the week before into 5 free transfers and essentially have wildcarded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thought. I guess the biggest pro for me bench boosting this week is that then I just don't have to think about my bench boost again, because that's such a pain in the ass. But the con is that this is probably not on paper my best week to bench boost, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was like 50% sure even when I picked this team that I would bench boost this week, because I like this team for the hold for a couple of weeks. And I was like, if I'm going to bench boost in 7, definitely, then I should pick a better bench boost team. So I don't know. I like the diversity that my team has. It's just I don't know how often I'm going to have such a playable bench in the first half of the season. So I go back and forth.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though, no real transfer plans. If I don't end up doing that, I think I have a perfectly acceptable team to play, barring a couple tougher fixtures, and
Yeah.
I don't mind taking an L on those guys for 1 week. Like João Pedro versus Liverpool is probably not going to be a great week. He hasn't gotten a shot in like 4 games. Now there's
Yeah.
there's a little bit of context with like some red cards and Palmer being out, and his fixtures are going to turn way easy after this Liverpool game. Like it's something crazy. Like after this Liverpool game, then they got Forest, which is a little harder, but then it's Sunderland, Spurs being a harder one, Wolves, Burnley, Arsenal, Leeds, Bournemouth, Everton. I said Bournemouth twice, I think. Well, and so
No, but
I'd love to
that's
hold him. What's up?
no, sorry, I was gonna agree with you. Yeah, keep going.
I'd love to just hold him for that run. But alternatively, like I could dump him out for like solid money. I could dump out Fernandez for solid money. Gyökeres can move if Isak goes. So I want the ability to make all those transfers in a couple weeks when I have more data because I don't know who I would move to right now. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think 100%. I mean, even if you wanted to do it, I would kind of waste a transfer maybe, but if you go down to Richarlison, I think you save almost a mil. Uh, and then you have someone better probably to play this week since they're playing Leeds. But then it transfers out the window.
Yeah, and then I think the problem with that is that I'm getting rid of him 2 weeks later, and I don't have enough faith that
Yeah.
he's going to score to burn a free transfer. Like if you are going to wildcard in 8 and like that's what you lock in on, then I would absolutely be fine doing that.
Yeah.
But because I'm going to be operating behind the curve on everyone who has 2 weeks more information in wildcards in 8, I think I need to play a little more defensively.
No, I hear you. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think this is a solid team across the board. I get the conundrum and I get wanting to get it out of the way. Bench boost is the one that I don't think about at all, kind of for the same reasons of feels like I can kind of play it whenever and get a very average score. I mean, unless people are just blatantly injured.
hmm
So I don't
hmm
think there's really anything wrong with it.
I don't know. I'm coming around a little on the triple captain being stronger than I give it credit for. I still don't think it's like the problem is if you triple captain, they don't score. Like
Right.
you're fucked, right? So, but I mean, we saw a great example of the high upside of the triple captain, and that was really exciting to see this year. And like conversely, you see how hard it is to set up for a bench boost, and so
For sure.
unsure. It might happen, it might not. Either way, I think I'm rolling, barring someone
Yeah.
breaking a leg in training this week or something.
No, I understand that. Isn't it kind of nice to be able to sit back compared to last week when you were locked in like a week before
God,
it started?
yeah, Matt, last week was like mentally exhausting. Like just the the evolution is crazy. Luke said it best. People have like a week to stew on it, and I get whiplash from how fast opinions change of like, you need these players, all within no more information than I had, and the prices start going crazy. And it's fun,
Yep.
that's why we play the game, right? Like that's the chaos that we like to live in. But it's definitely nice to sit back for a week, plunger on head, and admire my team, knowing that well, there's a ton of existential dread. I was actually going to say that, like knowing that I am good for a week, but I'm like, shit, did I mess up with the Chelsea guy? Should I have Bowen or something like that? But it's minimal. It's less than last week.
Talk about whiplash on players. I mean, I don't think you could have found a bigger hater than me against Bowen. I mean, I transferred him out, I think, game week 2. It
You
was,
had him. Was he the first hit that you took?
yeah, it was
Oh,
him.
I forgot.
It was Wood in for him, which what a woohoo transfer that was. Good job, me. But I mean, yeah, I can see why people want him, especially at the cheaper price that he's at now.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with Bowen, right? That team has been awful, and you could say Graham Potter has been a large contributing factor to that, but are they going to be able to consistently put it up week after week for a little bit? Maybe not. Like
Yeah,
post international break, I could look at him once Nuno has a little bit of time. Um, and Bowen's a great player, so I'm still fully on board with West Ham getting relegated, so Spurs can sign him. So, if he doesn't put it together this year, no problem. Take a year off, my friend.
there you go. Selfish motives only. But I'm still on the West Ham relegation train. I'm not coming off that. But I mean, Nuno has proven himself capable. Like I feel like we've seen Forrest fall off the deep end here. So maybe he does turn him around.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the very least, Nuno did a good job getting out while his stocks were high, right?
Yeah.
Because Forest overperformed pretty significantly last year, and they were definitely regressing this year. Like, I don't think they would have had as strong of a season. Um, and he had a ton of money. Like, Nottingham Forest has spent such a crazy amount of time signing players and money signing players in the past couple of years. Um, he's not going to have the same resources at West Ham, but like you said, he's proven capable. He's gone to West Ham while the stocks are high, so I think he's going to instill a sense of belief in
Yeah.
the club. And so, if I'm West Ham, who you're looking to get ahead of Burnley, Wolves, and one more slightly more challenging opponent. I think that's doable, right? I could see a
Yeah.
path for survival if he gets them really solid defensively and they just stop shipping goals like crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the big, like, I feel like to stay up, you have to be a great defensive team because you just can't let in a bunch of goals because you won't keep up. So it'd
Yeah,
be nice
it's
to
just
see.
over.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can do that.
Yeah,
But
I really think it's like a get the defensive solidity solid and then get Boeing, who's an established great player, to just knock one away against the odd opponent and then just get enough points to survive, right?
yeah, yep. No, exactly. Yeah, but Bowen could be back on the radar. Who knows? Let's keep an eye out.
Who knows? Who knows?
No, I like the plan to roll here. I feel like you're sitting pretty right now. That was a successful wild card despite the plunger. So
Yeah. I mean, like there was some spots that I was even weak on or like unsure on when I made the transfers. Like Casado, I was a little bit like and I didn't want to bring Anderson in because the Forest fixture swung, but he's started getting DEFCONs right after I transferred out. Go figure.
yeah,
But I think the best part about this wild card is that I am primed to move. So when we know more in a couple weeks, whether that's I need to jump on a Brighton asset, I need to jump on Salah, I need to jump on Isak, I can dump money quickly, and I'm excited about that.
yeah, absolutely. I think you have the players, like you said, to get down and get up as needed. So I feel like you'll be
hmm
in a good
I,
spot.
I don't feel like I'm behind for the first time in a little while, and that was the thing I felt last season. I was always behind.
Yeah. No. Good. It's fun when we're playing this game with 3 people instead of 2. All right. Do we want to hop into my team a little bit? Talk
Yeah,
future?
let's do that.
All right. Let's
You got
see.
a little more to consider than I do. I somehow still managed to take up 20 minutes.
No, I wrote down the time we started screwing around with the inability to share screens at 32 minutes and 16 seconds. So
Not
actually,
bad, not bad.
we're flying. Let's see. I would like to share just a window and see if nice. Doing this on one laptop screen can be a little tough, but can you take me? Nice. All right. Look at this high tech, just straight sharing a screen here. I love it. Okay. So this is where the squad's sitting at. Obviously, I haven't made any of my transfers yet, although maybe I shouldn't say obviously because the day the window opened last week, I had Semenyo in and Holland in simply to avoid the price raises that we
Smart
talked
move.
about.
They were going up.
Yeah, I don't think I would have. I still lost 0.1 on this overall, but that was actually out of Watkins going down. So I
Hmm.
did get him out in time. But looking at the squad, I mean, like there are areas I can improve in obviously my goalie, my defense, and I would say even my attack. Although let's be honest, this needs to happen just right now. So save that in there. But looking at this, I think the biggest thing that has jumped out to me has been Milinkovic. Obviously, playing Newcastle. I mean, even with his good fixtures, he was putting up 1s and 2s. So not a great guy to have ended up holding on to him for this long. But I feel like I definitely need to get a defender in there.
Dude, Eddie Howe has Ange's number. They didn't just beat us when he was the Spurs manager. They beat us bad. Like there was a couple games that were like 4-0.
All right. Well,
So
I
like
don't want that.
I'm sorry to put that in your head, but
You're not
it's
wrong.
one of the reasons why I got rid of my Forest assets.
No, I hear you. It makes sense, and that is my plan. That has been my plan all along. It's just that we touched on last week. João Pedro already feeling like he was going to regress, and so it felt like this is just the act of that starting, and I want to get out of him as soon as possible and get into someone else. And that's solely to protect value. And obviously, I don't really want to play him against Liverpool. Not a problem. I can play Ali against Burnley this week, but just future state. And then the other aspect of this is Sanchez. I mean, guy's a certified bum after that red card. I'm pretty annoyed with him. So, and then giving up, was it 3 last? I was unhappy. I know they were playing down a guy, but come on now. And I don't really want to play Dubrovka. I mean, if Phil's the problem is Villa hasn't even gotten that many shots on goals. Like, is he going to get saves, or are they just going to put goals like the 2 goals in on 2 shots, and he's not going to get anything? I don't know.
I have no idea with Villa right now. They're such an oddball team. I truly
No,
they could win 4-0 like they should have been doing all season, or they could just do nothing again.
100%. I don't know. So that scares me to play him. So this is where I get at. I was planning wildcard game week 8. Honestly, a big reason was trying to get into more of the premium guys. So getting out of Ali, possibly getting into a Gokeres, an Isak, looking at where I could take down some of my defense into those lower priced guys, and then hop people up into, if I go back to Salah, I really tank some other players, or bring in Osaka or whoever that is. So that's why I've been looking at game week 8, kind of went into depth on that last week. But I want to affect like 3 guys this week, but I don't think they're worth taking hits over going into a wild card next week, because then why would I not just do it this week? But only doing it for a couple players feels really dumb. So I think I just need to bite the bullet and say, all right, I'm transferring one defender out, and I'm not going to have a perfect team, and that's okay because I'm going to fix it next week.
So how many transfers do you have this week?
1.
God, the hit king strikes again. I don't know why I asked.
No,
yeah.
Okay, so just to cover, going into game week 2, I hit. Going into game week 3, I hit. Game week 4 was a free hit. Game week 5, I actually rolled, and then going into game week 6, I used both of them for Semenyo and Holland, which I don't regret.
No, that's good. I'm proud of you. You've done great. I think those were good transfers last week too. So, yeah, I don't know. I just the only question I have against that strategy, to play devil's advocate for a moment, is just that you're not gonna have a perfect team every week, and you could just have those transfers on the backside of the wild card when things change.
Yeah.
And just have another week of information, because if you move early, what defender would you move early to, I guess is the thing, because everyone wants to bring in Salah because the fixtures change, so you're not going to probably get rid of Virgil, and so it's Milinkovic out.
Yep. 100% Milinkovic out, that no doubt.
Those are tough. It's a tough next run, so I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the guys that I've been looking at, and this is really looking at
6.2 at the bank, or 6.
Yeah,
5.6.
5.6.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
No, you're good. So the guys that I've been looking at, I mean, no Shaq. Obviously, the top 2 guys here are always a consideration just because of the form they've been in. Senesi he's up there vying for my attention right now, along with a Oh no, never mind. I mean, this might have made my decision for me, because
Senesi or Calafiori?
Yeah, because Calafiori was 5.6 yesterday, and I could afford him, and he's no longer that. He is 5.7 on this screen right here. So we are going live, and you are seeing the live reaction to Heartbreak, because that's who I was leaning towards.
I mean, I don't know. I think Calafiori is a good pick, but I think every Arsenal defender is a good pick. So,
but he was the cheapest. I mean, Saliba.
Yeah, I do understand that. Like, the double Arsenal move would have been maybe nice.
It would have been so nice, because now going against the Leeds, I'm gonna have a singular Arsenal player.
Just one? You don't have any frontline either?
Nope. I have Gabriel.
That's a tough one. I do understand. I did not consider that. But I mean, Senesi could be good. Like, if you just pick him up now, but you're probably going to wild card into him.
I would.
The thing is, you're probably just not, like, Calafiori could have been good, but I just don't see how you're materially affecting your team by making this transfer this week. Like, if you want to go Milinkovic out, which is a good move versus Newcastle, it's like you can get Senesi, but they're playing Fulham, so there's solid chance for a clean sheet there.
There is, and we did touch on this earlier, because this was legitimately someone else I was considering against Leeds.
Arsenal playing West Ham, by the way, not Leeds.
No, I pulled up Van de Ven. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I was saying he was another one I was
Yep,
Sorry.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Now,
it's a pretty good thing to do, I think.
can Vanderman get some DEFCONs? Does anyone on Tottenham get DEFCONs? What are we doing over there?
That's a good point. I don't. Polina, maybe.
He's not even a defender.
Like a midfielder. You asked, does anyone on Tottenham?
I,
Does any defenders on Tottenham? You must be specific, Mr. Sharp.
forgive me. That is on
Mm-hmm.
me. Who does pass? I know we talked about this. This is Everton. I don't like that, but
Let me see the fixture run for those Palace guys, if you don't mind. You do mind,
okay,
apparently.
I do mind. I mean, so my problem though
it's tough.
is I don't care because I am, especially now that I'm not going to have a second Arsenal in this week. I'm definitely wildcarding next week to capitalize on some of that.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the run doesn't matter. I'm literally just looking at game week 7 right now.
Okay, so you have decided to dead end this week versus saving the transfer to roll through next week.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Aggressive, right? Like we're
That's
vibe.
true. You are. And it could be a mood move because if you capitalize, then theoretically when you wildcard, you're going to set yourself up for a couple weeks anyways, right? You don't have to
That's
roll through the wildcard. So then the question is just who's going to score, who's going to keep the best clean sheet. And Calafiori in that instance probably would have been the move, but that one sucks.
I know. Sorry, this is truly a live reaction of me.
No, you're good. I'm walking myself through your thought process live as well. So I'm caught up now.
I mean, this is just insane, though.
Who is this?
This is Senesi, and he has Fulham this week, but the DEF CON situation, even if they... I don't know how I don't go here now.
I mean, get him before his price rises because you're going to pick him up anyways. He's 4.9 right now. He started at 4.5. He was 4.7 when I bought him. That was last Tuesday. So we're 1 week removed and he's up 2 mil.
I know.
If you want to play the game, you could get him. You could jump early on a Forest defender. I think that's another option, but I just don't. Excuse me, not Forest defender. Newcastle defender. But I don't see their prices rising as much, so you're not as threatened, I would say.
That's so fair. Burn's been at the same price for the entire season. I mean, DEFCON's slightly less reliable. Still not bad, but
I think he's the classic example of he gets DEFCONs against the good teams because Newcastle is a pretty ball dominant team. So yeah, I mean the downside of someone like Burn is that his run is really solid, but he's probably not going to get as many DEFCONs because it's as solid. That's like a weird inverse. Like you're cheering against good games with these DEFCONs. Something I'm finding out.
No, 100%. It is an interesting little caveat to it all. It's like the clean sheet versus DEFCON. I mean, kind of question or conundrum.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm truly just checking things out right now. Is there anyone else outside of Senesi that comes to mind to you that you would suggest for the squad?
Okay. You care if I pull back up that image? Clean
Please.
sheet.
Yeah.
Let's think about it. So we want a defender is the established ideal transfer, and clean sheet odds in order. Arsenal can't pick them up. Sorry about that one. And honestly, you're better off for it morally. So good for you. I have to have one of those guys.
I hope my dad doesn't see that.
There are man, they're annoyingly good as a Spurs fan. That's the problem. I need you guys usually or City to pick it up to not just hand them a title this year, please. But well, hey, it could be us, but not at the rate we're going. But Villa, I don't know. Like, are you going to move for a Villa defender?
So ironically, just because you pulled that up, I did pull Matty Cash up.
Fuck Matty Cash.
Yeah, I mean,
hate that guy.
He's 50-50 on getting you a type of extra point / return / DEFCON, however you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Burnley this week, so clean sheet obviously is high on there.
How much is he?
He's cheap. He's 4.6.
That's pretty solid. That's not a bad 1 week punt, and then you're not losing any team value. The problem is you're just not capitalizing on the Senesi price rises.
Right, which is, I mean, when you look at it, losing team value in and of itself.
Which might be fine if you're about to. It's just going into a wild card. You might want as much freedom team value, but points are more than team value. I've always been a proponent that team value is overrated.
Yeah. No, that is fair. Who would you even get from City?
I mean, like a Gvardabal would be probably pretty solid.
He's
Could you
like
afford him actually?
no. I mean, he did price drop, I think, but only to like 5'9", maybe five
Did he
eight.
start at 6? That's a bummer. I was looking at him on heavily on the wild card because the city fixtures get decent.
Yeah, he's 5'8" right now.
Shoot. Well, maybe if you wait long enough, he'll go down again. um,
There you go.
probably not though. Um, hmm. He would be my pick for City, but they've kind of been shipping goals too.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
all of their defenders are ugly. Their highest scoring defender right now is Ruben, and he has a total of 18 points on the season.
do you have Tarkowski?
I do not. Let's see. I mean,
You're
I
playing Crystal
know.
Palace, but they struggled to get the ball forward. But they did just also have Sar return. Um,
Yeah,
that guy's a baller, dude. I had him in my team a couple years ago, and he played for Watford, and it's nice to see that he's risen so well.
I
He was
mean,
the guy who ended the Liverpool unbeaten season run.
uncalled for. No need to say
Shout out
that.
to Sar.
Yeah. All right, whatever. Moving on. I'm already. Don't kick me while I'm down. I'm already down right now.
I'm wearing the plunger. How down are you?
That's a fair point. Oh man. So yeah, I mean last week, like you already said, though, last week was the first time he didn't hit DEF cons, but Palace, he would think will at least show some sort of attack. I just don't want them to show too much of an attack.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm neutral on the Everton players, even as someone who has them. I mean,
Even
I
when
find
I
it.
mean,
Sorry, I totally cut you off.
no, you didn't. I cut you off and just hopped back in there for no reason other than I looked at Tarkovsky's like weekly scores and a 1-3, then he gets the 8, then a 3 is a 4. Like it's kind of gross for how
Yeah,
high everyone is on.
yeah, I was like kind of like, why are we bringing him in the wild card? To be
Yeah.
honest, I don't know why. I just it was like it wasn't a standout other option for me that I could afford, and I was just doing like this price rise lock team. I actually almost dropped him at the deadline for Alderte, but said it'll be fine against this West Ham team. Um,
Okay, here he's another interesting one. Like obviously I don't expect another 17 pointer out of him. Alderete, I just flipped over to him. But he has gotten DEFCONs in the last 4 games, and 5 ago he was at 9 against Burnley. So it's no. Is United probably going to score? I mean, yeah. Although their first 3 games of the year they only scored out of a pin and own goals.
it's
So like,
true, but they're not just projected for one; they're projected for two. Like, is he a 4.0 million defender the best upside move? Like, I find it interesting that the clean sheet odds are higher for Everton than they are for Crystal Palace because I could totally see Palace cleaning this week.
yeah,
Like, what if you brought in like you have 5.6? What if you brought in like a Lacroix or somebody, even a
yeah.
Richards,
Or
and
Gahey.
yeah, and like if there's a DefCon monster out there and they clean, you're looking at like a 10-point upside.
Yeah, that's
And
so
if
fair.
they're
I mean,
just a DefCon monster, they're a solid defense.
Gahey's last 4 have been 15, 6, 7, 7.
Who was the 7-7 against Liverpool?
And West Ham.
Well, they did dog walk you, so that makes sense. And then West Ham probably too. Again, we lost
Listen,
1-0 to Wolves or tied 1-0 to Wolves. I'm aware.
I just let's not forget that, and let's our first game we lost this year. It's gonna happen. It's fine. At least it wasn't drawing Ipswich again.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know who. Just I guess who is the most DefCons on Palace is what I'm curious about.
That's totally fair. Gay said it twice, I believe.
Richards has gotten 13, 17, 4, 13, 8, 8.
Okay, I
So
think
pretty
he's
solid.
on Lacroix now.
Well, I guess
13.
oh god, it's the classic the DefCon conundrum of it's a better fixture for a potential clean, but are they going to get DefCons versus Everton?
I think Everton's gonna get the ball forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think DEFCONs are certainly possible. Um, did we touch on Mitchell? Nothing crazy. It's just amazing how well they've played because all of their defenders are just in the top scorers.
Who Palace?
Yeah.
they're on a crazy run. First of all, they're like unbeaten in 20, and then in that time they've played Liverpool in like the Community Shield, like Arsenal, like Spurs or something probably, or
I think
like
they played City in there too.
City, like Glasner, great coach. All of these guys, great. I do see why Liverpool was twerking for known homophobe Guehi all summer.
Yeah, I if we could upgrade Kanate, that would be lovely at any given time. Or just honestly more depth on in the center back position would be nice too.
hmm I did say that this was last year. This was the proving season for Slot, and I agree with that. Last year he was handed a finished product, and he's a good coach, and he got it done. But this year we're really going to see what he's made of.
Yeah, no, I'm here with that. I understand. I'm bought into him still. That's for sure. So
So, okay, should I bring your screen back up? By the way,
I mean, you can. I haven't moved. I'm still at the damn player selection, trying to figure out who it would
like,
be.
so here's the thing, though. If you're not this convinced about any one player, just I know it goes against everything you stand for, but you could save the transfer. Like, could you go back to
I
your team for a sec,
yeah.
mayhaps?
Let me just return him, and then I'll go back to. There we go.
So you need to sub out Milenkovic, and your
Yeah.
options are. Yeah, I mean it's not great for your defender, but some weeks you're just gonna have a bad week, and I just if there's no one that's obviously gonna get you more points, maybe it's better to just save it.
Well, I think everyone we've mentioned is going to get me more points. I think I'm agonizing over who the right person is out of those people. I still feel convinced to get Milenkovic out of there.
Yeah, I mean it's a fair point, but I mean I do strongly believe that Forest might lose by multiple goals is the problem.
Right.
But they don't have Isak, and that was part of why that team was so good against the Ange team because he was so good at getting in behind. And I don't know. I think that the transfer upside on the defender is not that high, right? Like you're talking about a clean and DEFCONs, so 8 points versus if they have a bad game, 2 points probably, like 1 point. Like, it's a 7 point swing. I get it. It's significant. Could land you in
Do
the
you
cone of shame.
see how disgusting this is?
He was in my team. I do see it. I'm just saying
I know. I hear you.
you
I hear
can't
what
get
you're
very
saying.
far. You know.
I 100% hear what you're saying. I'm, as we sit here, continued to be unconvinced, and I'm not sure I'm going to be convinced tonight. I think there's two very clear schools of thoughts that we're both presenting here, and we're going to give it a little teaser. We're going to say follow along on Twitter to see what decision gets made because it's not going to be tonight, but it will get posted at some point this week. I'm just going to sit here and sulk for 24 hours before I do it. So,
Really, I feel like the reality is you're just gonna text us in 20 minutes once we get off the stream and be like, "Guys, I transferred in this Wolves defender."
you think it's going to take 20 minutes?
No, no. What's the over under?
Yeah, I'll take the under. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, that's where I'm sitting going into game week 7. I think I have now, especially with the no Arsenal cover, or second, excuse me, been convinced that I will need 3 of them going forward, and I want to fix my goalie issue long term. So I am convinced to wild card in game week 8, and hopefully get a little more knowledge out of the guys we've mentioned, Saka, Isak, just who the go-to guys are truly going to be in their teams. And if anyone else pops up or João Pedro proves that he's done, he had his run and he's good. A lot of questions come up, but all of those to say I'm wildcarding game week 8, and I'll stew over this transfer for a little bit in game week 7.
Does it make more sense if you're gonna do a transfer in wildcard to dead end out of a João Pedro and bring him back if he's losing team value? What if you brought in a Richarlison or something like that? What if you instead tried to capitalize on the high upside attacking threat?
I totally hear you. That's not a bad idea. I guess here's the true team, and he should be in here.
It's just you're gonna
So
bench him anyways, and you
I'm
have
a,
like your
yeah,
defenders.
exactly.
I don't know. I don't think you can have a perfect team every week. I don't hate it, and I do think that Forest could legitimately get pumped versus Newcastle. Like we could be looking at a negative score, but I personally wouldn't do this, but I'm also 2 mil behind you in the rankings. So who needs to listen to me right now? I'm wearing the plunger for the 5th time in 6 game weeks.
Hey, ironically, the parts that I listen to out of you do seem to help me. So maybe
I
there's
know.
something
Why
to
do I give good advice to everybody except fucking me? We got our first commenter last week, and I was like, "Yeah, you gotta play Gabrielle." And hey, you're welcome.
100% because I was higher on Saliba last week, so you were right on.
But yeah, it's if only I could give some of that advice to myself.
Fair. I mean, I guess to your point of capitalizing on some sort of attack, the only other attack, he's still a problem, but he would be the guy I would want to get out.
Agreed. For who? What if do you have any money in the bank?
Point two.
All right, who could we get in? The problem is there's just this weird pricing gap where once you hit like sub 7, it's a money pit because then it's like you got Ndai and Kudus, and then you're at like 5.6 mils.
But there's no reason he couldn't just move to my bench and like you just talked about with Richarlison here and just play a 3-4-3.
Yeah, but you said you didn't want to do it because you wanted to get rid of Milankovic.
Well, now I'm at the point
Oh, you're
where
saying bench and die and then play Richarlison and still just play Milankovic?
and then just or say fuck it, we ball and go Steve and Dubrovka, and either I win with Watkins or I win with my defense. Or
Yeah.
they give up one goal and Watkins doesn't score it, and I'm over here hating my life.
I mean, if a Steve cleans and Watkins doesn't score, which has been more on form than for him than recently, that could be very funny. It would be very funny to call.
Yeah, am I willing to? I mean, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. So it's not wrong. Let's just, for funsies, real quick here. Where could I theoretically go? These all look pretty gross.
That's what I'm saying. I said money trap, but that's not what I meant. It's more like this just weird slippery slope of there are so many cheap. Oh, what about Sar from Crystal Palace?
I know. I did just see that.
He might be nice.
Or
No, I don't. I think those guys both have like, I don't know. How does Rice have points?
didn't he assist this week?
So yeah, because he's a little more consistent, I guess, returned in 3 out of 6 games than
And he didn't really
Zubamendi. But
play
Zubamendi just went
before.
off for like 24 points in a week, if I remember, and has like 1 point in every other week. You should look at him real quick.
Correct. I think he braced in
Okay,
Forest.
so it's 16 in that a couple. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, fair point. All right, see, dude, that was a fun little prank.
I mean, Sar could be good. It's just the problem is like they're playing Everton, who are decent, and it's like, do you want to just do an Everton transfer for a Sar transfer? Maybe not. But Sar is like really, truly probably the new guy in that midfield. Adam Wharton is also so good. So if he's back and Adam Wharton's playing, that's a crazy pickup for that team. And like the whole reason I had to get rid of Minte was because Sar was injured and they weren't scoring. So now Palace could be back. And if you need him as a 1 week punt, it's fine.
I know.
Who's this?
Minta up just for fun here against Wolves this week.
Dude, that's a good one, actually.
Whoa, he actually got DEFCONs at one point?
Yeah.
Oh, City. Okay. He still won the game.
Actually, how many points is 5, 9, 6, 4? Dude, he might be.
It's not bad.
I'm high on the Brighton defenders right now. We didn't touch on, not defenders, but Brighton players in general.
Yeah.
They weren't clicking at the beginning when I watched them play like Fulham, but they've kind of been putting together, and they beat Spurs. I think they beat Chelsea. He's returned against Bournemouth. Those are really hard games. And now he's playing Wolves. So I guess the only thing is, will he get rested? But is their squad deep enough? And that's where we would need a Brighton fan to chime in. I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, I hope he wouldn't get rested. But that would be kind of a crazy, bring him in here, take him out for Newcastle United, bring him back in for Leeds or somewhere in here.
Yeah, I was tempted to move for him on the wild card over Ndai because I'm just not that convinced about Ndai while I have him. And I'm still not exactly sure why I picked him up, because in the next 3, you got Crystal Palace, City, Spurs, and Sunderland, Fulham, United, Newcastle. So I'm actually like, I don't know. I feel like I gaslit myself last week into saying they didn't have hard fixtures. Now they totally do. Like, what am I talking about?
They do, but West Ham wasn't supposed to be a hard fixture. And
Yeah,
his
I
last
was supposed to.
4, when you were looking at him, were averaging 6 points, 6.5 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into West Ham, and I mean, I know we have said Crystal Palace is good, but like, I think you can still easily convince yourself one way, and then you're saying take a week off here, and then so I see what the thought process, the vision was there.
Yeah, and like I can always downgrade him to a burn for the Newcastle fixture swing, and then put that money somewhere else in the midfield, or fund a Holland transfer or a Saka transfer. Like right now, my ideal transfer plan to cover like the next 4 game weeks would just be bench boost 7, bring in Salah in 8, using 2 transfers, and then bring in potentially Palmer in 9. Right. That's predicated on a lot of things. One, is Salah necessary right now with the numbers that Holland's putting up? Arguably, he just got a little better actually with the Ekatike injury.
Yeah.
But 2, is Palmer going to be healthy, and is Palmer worth it? Because Chelsea haven't looked amazing. And so if those don't end up being the plays, then maybe we end up capitalizing on Newcastle guys, or back up to a Watkins, or bringing a Bowen or something. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Our third wank texted us,
What do you
and
say?
he must have hopped in here. He was a live viewer at one point. He was checking
He's
us
our
out,
live viewer. Nice.
and then he's saying he doesn't want to hop on because we're already at transfer plans. I guess this was 5 minutes ago, but I'm telling him to get on if he wants to get on. Maybe he can provide some clarity as to what my transfer would be, because honestly, I'm looking at this and I'm not hating your suggestions here and going with Minta, or maybe still taking Richarlison in for JP. But I'm kind of looking at a Steve like he's I've had a few drinks. It's the end of the night. Hey, I can take him home.
Play him against Villa, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, if you are going to make a defensive transfer, just to encapsulate everything we've said, I really think you got to go Sensi to capitalize on the price rising, or maybe like a Crystal Palace guy, right? Those seem to be like 2 of the fixtures that I would target.
Yep.
If you're going to go middle, I'd do like a Mente. I like that a lot. Or X the João Pedro, bringing like a Richarlison or somebody else with a good fixture. I mean, who's got the? I mean, you couldn't afford a Bowen, could you?
No, this is actually going to skew. Well, anyone below 7.8, I would be able to, but 8.4 is an incorrect number. It would be a 8 million total.
Who are West Ham playing? I've been staring at it all night. Oh,
Arsenal.
Not that. Okay, not Bowen.
Wait, that's hilarious. We definitely need that. We've talked about it so many times.
We've talked about it so many times. It's all a blur.
It is. Okay.
It's something in my eye.
Yeah, your finger.
Okay, uncalled for. Gonna be this plunger next for you.
Yeah. Oh man, Richarlison. I mean, as high as I've been talking about him, he truly is super inconsistent.
We're just not putting it together. It's like, unfortunately, the fallacy of Frank, and I feel like the deeper the team defends, the less likely we are to score, to be honest. We got outplayed by Bodo Glimt today, and our goals came from Van de Ven and an own goal.
Yeah.
And so against a like Norwegian team.
Here's a possibly crazy shout that I've kind of been high on, both in our texts and whatnot. But Woltemade against Forest, we've been talking about it on the flip side, about that we're convinced multiple goals are going to go in. Obviously, the minutes have not been the best in the world, but points aren't bad.
Honestly, like I said, if he's that cheap, and if Newcastle can pump Forest in the way that they have Spurs, that could be a really great differential.
And it's only 1 week. Like, I don't need to...
It's not like João Pedro's going to return anyways, probably.
No, I mean,
barring a penalty or something.
It'll be great because I can honestly watch that game fully cheering for Liverpool. Not that I wouldn't already, but I'd be like, 2-1 and
Sometimes you got to do the fun play. That might just be the fun play. Vibes FC gets vibes in soccer player form.
yeah, this might be the move, and then Wissa's like gonna play or something stupid, and then I'm gonna hate my life.
Yeah, but like it's not. It's a sacrifice of what, like two
Yeah, then I
points if
then
Jeffrey
Indie
doesn't
just
play.
comes back in, and basically nothing happens. So,
And nothing happened. So like,
oh god, that's not what I meant
oh,
to
why
do.
is he? Oh God, I was like, Voltermade's red flagged. What the hell?
No, 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 no. I just wanted to see. I wanted to see this right here when he was expected back. So
Um, Random soccer non FPL trivia fact. Not even trivia fact. The Bayern CEO was shitting on Voltemade. He's like, why would you spend that kind of money on this guy? And probably is an overpay for like 90 mil for him. But I was like, that's bold to be saying. This guy just scored.
yeah, I mean he's 2 of 3 now in the Prem. Like that's he's
Oh,
better. It
they
works.
wanted him and he went to the Prem, and so they were mad.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think Prem money is fake money at this point. So
He is in fact a bubble.
yeah, it's crazy. But that's where I'm sitting. I think we've actually kind of figured it out.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
don't have
there.
much more to say. I
I'm
feel like
70% mid. We'll see what happens.
here's the thing. There's some weeks that are like super high upside weeks, and there's some weeks that are super low upside weeks, and this one just feels like a mid week, right? Like there's a lot of teams that a lot of people have playing each other. So you're going to be on one side of that debate, or you're probably going to be forced to play some of your players against each other, and that's never great. I feel like last week was a much higher capitalized week, and this one might regress to like the 40, 50 points.
Could totally see that. I mean, give it a shot that we were all well above that, and the average was still 46 last week, and we're saying about how good it was. So good for us. Let's keep building that momentum, man.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. All right. Well, I think that's been everything I wanted to cover.
I think we're here. So shout out to all you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Catch us on Twitter as the week rolls on for any updates or thoughts we have there. But otherwise, peace out.
One other shout out to the third wank who we've been clowning a little bit, but I think has just become another uncle, or
Yes.
maybe first time uncle. So congrats to him.
All right. I guess we'll give him that. Congrats to him.
All right. Catch you later. Bye.
Peace.